Good evening from Raleigh, North Carolina. I am back. I just realized I was jawing on and going too long, but there's something else I also want to bring up. My favorite, if you will, and it seems like to me to be the only reoccurring villain that I can remember, if you will, in or adversary that I can remember in the adventures of Sam Spade, and that is Captain Hugh Sherry. Now, Captain Hugh Sherry actually was not part, if you will, of the Maltese Falcon. They took Captain Hugh Sherry from the Continental Op. Now, I'm trying to get a line on Hugh Sherry. Maybe there's some out there that can help me out with this. It looks like to me that Captain Hugh Sherry is likely a colonial white African, but maybe he's British. I'm hearing, and possibly South African, I'm hearing about the felt, and these are, terms that I would associate with South Africa. So maybe you know better. Now, Captain Sherry was also had a servant. The servant's name was Marcus. Now, Marcus, I believe, is described, if you will, as a black African servant. Now, this is where things get a little interesting and cringy. I would imagine an African American, especially one that may be my age, and I'm in Generation X. I'm 46 years old at the time, if you will, of this shooting, or maybe even someone a little older, may have some issues, if you will, with Marcus. Marcus is basically portrayed as a big dumb black man. He can hardly put, if you will, two decent words together. He is docile to the whims, if you will, of Captain Sherry, and he's, but he's a huge guy. I'm trying to think, what his size would be. It seems like the way that they describe this guy, he's probably at least in the neighborhood of about 6'5", 6'6", if not a little taller, and maybe, in excess of 200 pounds. It sounds like a pretty big guy. But at any rate, Marcus, if you will, was the servant, if you will, of Captain Sherry. Now, Captain Sherry, if you will, dies in the Continental Ops. But, as far as I know, he never dies in the adventures of Sam Spade. And he's always plotting and scheming and trying to, if you will, get his hands, if you will, on fast money, quick fortunes. What have you, whether that be playing to the affections of someone, whether that be, if you will, drugging someone to get the truth out of them. He was a very mischievous, if you will, character. But typically, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember an episode where Captain Sherry's ever arrested. He's usually, Sam Spade will likely foil his plan, and then, if you will, Captain Sherry will run away. I think there was one of them. Back to the felt, Marcus. Pack up the marmalade. That type of thing. I guess he liked marmalade. But that seemed to me to be the most consistent adversary that I'm aware of, if you will, Sam Spade having. And it's interesting because there are oftentimes, when he appears in an episode, they tend to be in communication, you know, they tend to be talking. Sometimes it almost seems like they're on good speaking terms. Um, but Sam Spade is always wanting to know what Captain Sherry, if you will, is up to. Well, anyway, I definitely wanted to bring up that guy. He was probably my favorite adversary, if you will, of Sam Spade, and he's the most consistent one. Um, and I love him. I love it. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for me here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is getting late, and there's other things we have to do. So long from the Oak City, not to be confused with Oak Town. Take care and bye-bye.